पर कैसे?
लोहा तांबा खनिज मिले सब इस धरती के आंगन में, इतना आशीर्वाद छुपा है इस धरती के कण कण में। हर एक जरूरत अपनी खुद ही जब पूरी कर पाएंगे, आत्मनिर्भर भारत की हम तब बुनियाद बनाएंगे। आत्मनिर्भर हम।
संकल्प है हमारा कि धरती के ये आशीर्वाद हम देश की सेवा में ला सकें, देश की जरूरतों के लिए, एक आत्मनिर्भर भारत के लिए। वेदांता।
Welcome back. We're live with queries. In fact, we should be live on social media, on our platforms very soon. And on YouTube, I believe we are already live. But I do want to remind you, those of you who don't know, we've also got a WhatsApp number where we can engage with you directly. And that number is 865-7974-571. If you're tuning in from your homes and you're watching this on television, then do send us a number with your name and the stock that you want to know about. Also the duration that you want to know about. Just a quick reminder to both our guests, Vikas as well as Kunal, do keep your answers as short as possible so that we can accommodate as many as possible. The first one I'm going to take is from YouTube. We've got Madhusudan who's asking about Aurobindo Pharma, which he has bought at an average price of 876. He's asking whether he should add more at the current level, should he average at the current market price. So I will go across to you, Kunal, on this one. What do you think he should do? Should he average?
Well, I think you can look to average at current levels. If you are specifically a medium-term to long-term investor and you are looking to buy the stock at a at price, then I think it's a good zone where you can look to average out further. The indicators have entered into the extreme oversold territory, so that makes the risk reward very, very lucrative from a medium-term to long-term perspective for Aurobindo Pharma.
This one is from Jay Krishnan. It's a WhatsApp query that we've got. He's saying that he wants to know whether Lux Industries is worth buying. If so, he wants to know an entry level. He's looking for the medium to long term for Lux Industries. Vikas, how does this particular counter look like? And if someone were to buy, does it make sense at current market price?
Yes, Cheryl, this stock has given tremendous return over the last few quarters, and even the entire sector has done well. If you look at even Dollar Industries or Rupa or Page Industries, they've all done well. And I think it's a good company, but at the current price, entering into the stock would be a bit risky. So I would recommend that one should wait for some healthy correction in the stock to be able to enter into the stock from medium to long term point of view.
Okay, those of you who have posted on WhatsApp already, I think a few of you are wondering, it's a new day and we take queries fresh. So do send queries again in case we have missed it out, because a lot of people have been sending messages in. I do want to go back to YouTube though. We've got Kota who's asking, Somesh who's asking about Unitech. I'm coming to you on this one, Vikas. Would you suggest that he should enter for the long term?
No, Alex. I would not recommend entering into Unitech even at the current levels. The company's fundamentals do not support whatever price it's quoting at, and there are umpteen number of good quality stocks from the real estate sector where one could invest into. So I would ask the investor to look for some other stock in the real estate sector, which I like at the moment.
This one is for you as well, and this one is from Shankar from Chennai. He's written to us saying that he's holding Subex, which he's purchased at 61 rupees per share, about 1,000 shares, wants fundamental view on this company. He has a time horizon of 5 to 7 years, but does it make sense to stay put with his holding in Subex, Vikas?
This company has seen transformational change recently, and the stock has clearly given a pretty decent returns over the last 1 or 2 years, and even from these levels I think the stock could do well. So I would recommend a hold on the stock at the current levels, and I think in the next say 2-3 years the stock could certainly be a multi-bagger from the current levels. So I would recommend a hold on the stock.
Kunal, we've got a question from Riyank on the Bank Nifty. What views do you have? It's under pressure today, but do you think that there's going to be a bounce back in the near term?
I think from a very, very short term view, if it's specifically intraday towards maybe 1 or 2 days of expiry, then the banking index has a good support at 35,600, 650 mark. We bounced back from this level, I think previously as well. And I think in that sense, this could be an important support where the banking index can still hold on. So purely as a risk reward play, I think it could be an interesting play for the banking index and the banking stocks to try and go for a small or short term bounce, at least over the next couple of days.
All right, this one is coming in from Janardhan from Bengaluru. He says that he has 150 shares of On Mobile Global that he's purchased 2 years back at about 40 rupees per share. What's the prospect of this company? What sort of a target should he look at? Kunal, what's your take on Mobile Global?
If you've made, if you've bought at, lower levels, assumingly, then I believe that these are good times where you can look to book out profits over here. I sense that, the stock could probably be prone to a short term to medium term correction. The indicators have come back into extremely overbought territories. The indicators on the monthly chart specifically are showing signs of divergence with respect to prices. And typically when you see such kind of, price as well as indicator behavior, we expect, at least a modest correction, somewhere around 15 to 20% odd from its major swing highs. So I think purely on that sense, I would suggest that you can look to book out, and then if you're looking to buy back the stock again, then wait for a correction of at least 20% from its recent swing highs to try and buy back the stock at lower levels.
Okay, the next one's from Rajat, and this one's for you, Vikas. He's got Motherson Sumi. You spoke about auto, and you said that you're positive on the space. But does that extend to Auto Anks as well? He's bought at levels of 233, and he's saying that it's been dragging his portfolio. He's asking whether to book loss or to hold on.
Alex, I would recommend a hold on Motherson Sumi. It's a good quality stock, one of the leading companies from the auto component space. Although the results for this quarter were not as great and the stock has corrected from then on, but I think at the current levels of 215 odd, I think one should be holding on to the stock. He's bought it at a higher price, but I think holding it with a clear 9 to 12 months point of view would be beneficial for him, and he could recoup his losses and make profits out of it.
All right, this query is coming in from Puneet. He's saying that he has Indraprastha Medical 300 shares that he's purchased at 90 rupees per share. He just wants 1 week view. Kunal, do you have any view on this particular counter, Indraprastha Medical? I believe it's a recently listed company.
I think that's a good history, Cheryl, but purely on the very, very short term charts, now if you're expecting in 1 week, I don't see any major pickup of price trend. It's just that the stock is nearing its 50-day moving average as a breakout. I think the 50-day moving average is around 85.5 to 85.2 on the spot levels, and the stock is just around that 85 odd mark. So it's nearing this 50-day moving average. So if the breakout happens for the stock, and if it sustains above this level, say for another couple of days, then you can expect that a 10 to 15% rally could be in the offing for a very short-term charge. But purely, I think you need to wait for confirmation. So whether the 50-day moving average gets broken out today, tomorrow, or the next couple of days, that's going to be the important concern. So I would suggest wait out for this 50-day moving average breakout, and then look to target at least 10 to 15% higher from current levels.
All right, Vikas, if you have coverage on this one, Dikshita is holding on to NLC India. I do not know what price she is bought at, but this is a counter that has not done too badly for itself. Would you say that she should average? She says that she's losing a little bit of money.
This NLC India, if I'm not incorrect, this used to be known by the name of Navily Lignite earlier. It's currently quoting at around 54 rupees. This is a quality company from the PSU space, and I think trades at pretty reasonable valuations. So I think one could look for buying into this stock at the current levels.
Okay, this one is from Seema Jaiswal. She bought Indiabulls Realty about 1,000 shares at 170 rupees per share. What does the chart say for the near term, Kunal, is what she is asking specifically for you. So how are the charts for Indiabulls Realty in the near term?
I'm exceptionally bullish on the real estate pack. I think this is one sector which is emerging as a breakout candidate more on the long-term charts. Now, Indiabulls Real Estate is a high beta stock. The sector itself is entire high beta. But then when you look at these kind of chart patterns, like a 10-year breakout, a 5-year breakout for many of the stocks, that indicates that there is more vigor which is left into these spaces. So I would suggest that rather than looking at it as a near-term view, convert this more as a multi-year view for the real estate pack, and I think that's where a real potential could get unleashed into these names. I would also suggest that if you can look to add a couple of other real estate stocks like maybe a Kolte Patil, DLF, Sobha, developers, etc. I think that could also add a lot of beneficiary for your for your entire portfolio, and then you can try and play the entire rally on more of a medium to long term basis.
Okay, I'm quite sure, Vikas, based on our previous conversations, that you'll remember this. Mayank Saraf is a believer of buying holding companies, and he's got Bajaj Holdings, which I think he bought quite a while back, 500 shares at levels of 2,500. He's asking if we should add more at these levels, which are much higher than his initial acquisition price, to hold for 3 to 4 years.
Yeah, Alex, it's a good quality company holding very valuable Bajaj Group companies in its portfolio, and I think there is a big valuation discount when you look at the valuation of the stakes which it owns in the different Bajaj Group companies. So I would recommend a hold on the stock, and even can be bought at these levels if one has a 2 to 3 years perspective.
All right, this one is from Ponraj Kumar from Chennai. He is saying that he's purchased 400 shares of High-Tech Pipes at an average price of 600 rupees per share. He wants to know what should he do, hold it or exit. Kunal, do you have any coverage on this counter, High-Tech Pipes?
So again, a stock which has done pretty well, in the last 14-15 months, from being a stock which is just 2-digit, I think if I'm not wrong, 74, 75 odd levels, to a stock where it rallied to almost 700 plus in the recent past. Now the stock is going through a corrective phase. I would suggest that if you bought at slightly higher levels, and if you're looking to average, then wait for this 50-day moving average retest. That should be around 500 to 515 mark for the stock. So if the stock happens to come back to that kind of a territory, you can look to average it for further.
All right, Arvind Fashions has seen quite a bit of a run up. If we can pull up the last 3 months chart, a 90-day chart, if we can pull that up, we can indicate what our viewer Sudeep is pointing out to. Vikas, he says that he has only about 55 shares post the demerger or split from Arvind, and he's asking what the sudden hike in the price would entail, and he's asking if he should book profits at this juncture.
No, Alex, most of the textile stocks are just doing exceedingly well, and I think there's even more upside even from the current levels, although the stock has done well over the past few months in line with other stocks in the textile sector. I think this would do well from here also. So I would recommend a hold on the stock even at the current levels after the tremendous rise which the stock has seen over the last few months.
Right, this one is coming in from Koteshwara Rao, saying that he has 20 shares of Happiest Minds purchased at 1,424 rupees per share. He wants to add some more of this counter. He is a long-term investor. Kunal, what sort of a range should Mr. Koteshwara Rao look at while adding on to Happiest Minds?
See, in the last 5-6 months, the stock has not even retraced or touched its 50-day moving average, or rather close below it quite convincingly. So there have been few corrections in between, but then it's not resulted to a major price corrections for the stock. So that's a very important observation for a stock like Happiest Mind, indicating that even if you get like a 5%, 7% correction to the stock from its recent swing high, that seems to be a good entry point. So purely on that sense, I would suggest that you can start nibbling, and in case if there is any steep correction along the way, like for example the stock is at the 50-day moving average is at 1200 levels. So if the stock corrects by say another 200 rupees from current levels and retests the 50-day moving average, that should be taken as a further averaging opportunity for a stock like this.
Okay, not a stock that we hear every day. We've got Anuradha who's asking about Grauer and Weil, which is currently trading at 60 or 61 or thereabouts. It is a small cap company with a market cap of about 1,500 crore. Vikas, I'm coming to you on this one. We've got Anuradha who's bought at levels of 14. She's making a profit, I think, of about 50% at this juncture. So should she hold on? Are you familiar with this?
If I do not remember incorrectly, this company also owns pretty valuable real estate in the Kandivali area of Mumbai. And the stock has done really well over the last few quarters. It's recently corrected from its highs of around, I think, 76, 77 odd levels. So at the current levels, I would maintain a hold in the stock.
Okay, this one is from Kiran Singh, saying that he's planning to buy Galaxy Surfactants, about 20 shares for a horizon of 8 to 12 months. He wants to know whether he should go ahead and do that. Vikas, I will come to you with this query. How does Galaxy Surfactant look like? If someone wants to invest it with a 1 year horizon or even 2 or 3 year horizon, does it fit the bill? Make sense to look at it right now?
Yes, it's a great company to own and to hold in your portfolio. I would recommend a buy on this stock, but one could use a staggered approach to be buying into this and use every declines to be adding onto it.
Okay, we've got a question on Apollo Tricoat. Let's try and pull up this chart. We've got Soumitra who's asking about it. It's currently trading at close to 1600 rather, and he's asking, based on the technicals, Kunal, would you suggest a fresh entry?
Alex, I don't track the stock, so I won't be able to comment on it.
Okay, fair enough. I'm going to take a chance, Vikas, and come to you on this one. Do you have coverage? If so, would you suggest a fresh entry?
It's a fundamentally good company. The stock has run up in line with other stocks in the mid-cap category, the good or quality ones. But I think if one were to enter into the stock, one should wait for some correction, some significant correction in the stock to be able to enter into this.
Okay, this one is coming in from Krishna Kumar from Bengaluru. He's saying he has 7,000 shares of Yes Bank that he's purchased at 15.75 rupees per share. Wants to know whether he should continue to hold on to it or sell the account. Kunal, what's your view on Yes Bank? Somebody has an holding. Does it make sense to continue to stay put with it, or should he go ahead and sell it?
Just to switch to quality, I think there are much better names on the private sector side. If you're looking to buy, even if you're looking at on the PSU side, then I think you have SBI as one of the better options in that pack. So I would suggest a switch from Yes Bank to say either an HDFC Bank or Kotak Bank on the private sector side, or maybe even an SBI, which I believe has a lot of potential from a long-term basis.
Okay, Page Industries has seen a bit of correction over the last month or so, but we've got KJ Singh, who's bought at levels of 24,000, Vikas, and he's asking if we should hold for the long term. Stock is currently trading above 30,000. Should he hold? Should he add more? What do you think?
Yeah, Alex, it's a great company to own from a long-term point of view, although looks expensive at the current levels, but I would still maintain a hold on this stock. He's bought it at a very good price, and the recent quarterly results were also pretty good, pretty strong. So I'm bullish on the textile sector as a whole and would maintain a hold on Page Industries even at these levels.
Venkat from Hyderabad wants fresh entry levels for Britannia Industries. Kunal, Britannia Industries, at what sort of a level can Venkat look to buy?
I think the stock could be bought at current levels. I think many of these FMCG stocks, they've just in the last 1 week, some of them in the last couple of days, have managed to come back into slight bit of momentum, and these stocks are traditionally very low in nature. So I think if you can try and time these stocks when the momentum sort of starts, like time what you're seeing right now, then I think it could be a good entry point. So I would believe that you can start looking at Britannia or timing the stock at current levels itself.
Okay, we've got Sumit who's asking about Amara Raja batteries, and we had the management Vikas not too long back on the channel speaking about the kind of technological advances and the moves that they're making. Seems to be a good play for the long term. What do you think? He's bought at levels of 722. He's asking if we should hold or sell.
No, I think this is a stock which can be held on to. It's pretty close to his buying price, and I think it's corrected from its highs also. And with the kind of prospect which we are talking about for the auto sector, the auto component sector, I think these battery manufacturers, particularly in view of the fact that electric vehicles also would be a major play, and if the company could seriously foray into electric vehicle batteries, then I think it could be a great opportunity. So I would maintain a hold on the stock.
Okay, this one is from Prakash from Chennai, saying that he's holding about 1,000 shares of Rallis India, which is purchased at 328 rupees per share. The company, rather the stock price has definitely fallen from the buying price that Prakash had bought it. He wants to know whether he should average or exit this particular counter or should he continue to hold on to it. What's your view, Kunal, on Rallis India?
I think you can need to hold on. I would suggest probably an averaging opportunity if the stock corrects by another 20-25 rupees, and 260 is where the level of support is for the stock purely on the basis of charts, and this is where the stock had bounced back or bounced off from in the month of February and March, where it ended a correction, and from there it rallied more than 25% or slightly more than that. So I would suggest that you can look to average, but 265 could be a much better point for you to average it out.
Okay, we've got Deepak who's asking about Yes Bank. He's been holding at an average price of 14.6 from the last 15 months, and he's got a time frame of 3 years, assuming that he can exit. I do not know if there are any other restrictions, but Vikas, there have been some moves on Yes Bank that suggest that the bank is now turning the corner. Would you suggest once again that he should hold, or do you think that he can go to some of the other larger private sector banks?
Yeah, Alex, I would recommend that he switches to some other larger private sector banks which are really doing well and which could comparatively give him much better returns over the next 3 years compared to a Yes Bank. I think one can safely buy into stocks like an ICICI Bank or a Kotak Bank or even an HDFC Bank at the current levels and hold it for the next 2 to 3 years.
Okay, this one is from Joy from Kerala. He wants to know that what's the 3-year view coming in on Hero MotoCorp? Does it make sense to buy at current levels? Vikas, what's your take on Hero MotoCorp? Make sense to buy it at current levels for the next 3 years, or should wait for some more dip?
I think one could start nibbling into Hero MotoCorp. The stock has been correcting over the last few days ever since the announcement of the entry of Ola into electric vehicles, electric two-wheelers. I think it's a great company. The fundamentals are extremely good, and I'm sure they would also get into electric two-wheelers and just compete with whoever comes into that space. So it's a great company to own from a 2 to 3 years perspective. I would maintain a buy on this stock and use a staggered approach to be buying on every declines.
Okay, Vikas has already pointed out that he prefers State Bank of India, if I'm not mistaken, assuming that it was you, Vikas, or was it Kunal? I'm not sure. But Kunal, the question is specifically for you. Rajan is asking, what level would you enter SBI at?
I think 400 was I remember 400 was the point where SBI had taken a very strong support in the previous phase of correction. So I think it was in the month of June, July, where the stock had just retested that 400 mark, and from there bounced off to almost 450, 460. So I think the stock typically has a tendency to try and double test its support. So if you're talking of a better level to try and chip into SBI, I think 400 or thereabouts should be a good level for you to enter.
Alright, that's the view coming in on SBI, but now time for the rapid fire segment in the query segment. Vikas, you will be new to this, so you need to keep your answers really short: buy, sell, hold, average, with a short maybe an explanation of why the viewer should do that. So Kunal is well versed with this format. So let's start with our rapid fire round, and the first one that we have is from Shivji. He's saying that he's holding 20,000 shares of HFCL, buying price 30 rupees per share. Wants to know sell or hold. Kunal?
sell and book your profits at current levels.
Vikas, I know that you're familiar with this. Would you would you hold on to NMDC at levels of 187? Manohar is asking, can hold for 2 to 3 years.
Certainly a hold. I'm fundamentally very bullish on NMDC at the current levels.
Okay, then this one is from Naina, wants to know about Jindal SAW, bought at 143 rupees per share. Should I average the stock? She's asking Kunal.
I think yes, the stock is available at a good corrective phase. Should look to average.
Okay, another company that Vikas will have a view on, Gabriel India. Shushrit wants to know, should he sell at this point? He's got 200 shares at 104. Should he hold on?
It's a hold. It's a hold. Yesterday's news is pretty positive for Gabriel India. They are one of the sole suppliers to Ola for their electric two-wheelers.
This one is from Rajiv. He's holding Praj, 100 shares, about 380 rupees per share. Wants to know, can I continue to hold on for another year? What's your take, Vikas? Can he continue to hold on to it?
Yeah, Praj is again a hold. The sugar sector and the ethanol story is playing out well. So I think Praj would be a beneficiary. A hold on this stock.
Abhishek Kohli, a new investor, wants to know, Vikas, would you suggest a fresh entry into Philips Carbon?
Certainly, I think one could buy into Philips Carbon at the current levels even after the run-up. I like this stock and I'm very bullish on the stock from medium to long-term point of view.
Shriram holds about 30 shares of Berger Paints, bought at 820 rupees per share. Wants to know whether he should add, average, hold, or what's the call, Kunal?
Well, I would suggest to hold on. I think the paint cycle, the paint stocks are making a strong comeback, so you should definitely hold on.
Okay, I believe we managed to take a couple of bonus questions as well. Thank you so much, Kunal, as well as Vikas, for taking the time. And I do realize today that I've been muddling up the names. I've been calling Vikas Kunal and Kunal Vikas. Apologies for that. Thank you so much for taking the time. And always a pleasure speaking with you. To everybody who's tuned in on social media and otherwise, thank you so much for joining in, and we'll be back tomorrow to take a lot more of your queries if we didn't answer them today. Slipping into a short break, more on the other side. Do stay tuned.